I'm not gonna fight your war. I'm gonna end it.
So I saw Captain Marvel with like 7 of my friends, and I was actually in the minority when it came to this movie. One of my friends agreed with me that this movie was pretty mediocre, but the other 6, the majority of the group, said that they actually liked the movie, despite having white skin and a penis. Yet it seems people can watch movies without identity politics. And that's why I thought this movie was garbage, because everyone just wanted to see a woman in a superhero role. They didn't care if she was poorly written or fantastically written.
Women have not had a lot of power in a lot of ways. And I think if it's done right and appropriately across the world and presented correctly, I think it's a great, great thing.
See, all people give a shit about is whether the person is a female or male. Who gives a shit? I just want to see good characters and a nice driven plot. When all people talk about is the gender of the character, then that quality of the character turns into the character's most important aspect. And guess what? That's boring. I can think of a ton of female characters I actually really enjoy, and that's because their main attribute isn't, I'm a girl. They actually have well-written personalities and are really interesting. Do I think there should be more females in the superhero genre? Sure. Unfortunately, Hollywood is combating a fake patriarchy in the process, because for some reason they believe we still live in the 50s. A female superhero is not something to brag about. Yet nobody cared until you made a big deal out of it.
According to my understanding, she has no weaknesses.
Yes, that's my understanding, which is awesome because most women do not have any weaknesses.
Alright, I said in my last video that Brie Larson was a really bad actress, but after watching Scott Pilgrim, I've realized that Brie Larson is actually not a bad actress. Her role in Captain Marvel was just bad casting. I don't feel like her acting fits the character. We're told at the beginning of the movie that Captain Marvel is a very emotional person, and she has problems controlling her emotions. Does this look like someone who has trouble hiding their emotions? Throughout the entire movie, I was waiting for Brie Larson to turn off her RBF, but unfortunately there was only one scene in that movie where I felt like she was trying to display an emotion. And that was the scene when she screamed like an acoustic monkey. Besides that, her acting is flat and stale. Now this movie is filled with colorful and interesting characters such as Nick Fury, Goose, the Elf People, Black Woman and Black Woman's daughter, who can't act for shit. I know she's a kid, but my god, she's awful. And I don't remember their names because they're just as boring and bland as Captain Marvel. And these boring and bland characters make painfully stupid decisions. There's this really stupid scene with Black Woman and Black Woman's daughter. They have this argument whether or not Black Woman should go up in space and risk her life. Being a smart person, Black Woman says, hey, I have a daughter. I shouldn't go up in space and risk my life because what if I die? Black Woman's daughter argues that, well, you've been doing dangerous stuff all your life, so why is this different? Which is retarded logic, but let's look at the comparison. Flying around in jets or fighting aliens and superhumans. Yeah, the amount of danger is not the same. What's stupid is that the only person who gets injured on the mission is Talos. And conveniently enough, the Black Woman comes out of the battle with no injuries. As if to say that was the right decision, leaving the daughter by herself and possibly having her losing the only parent she has. Zero consequences for such a foolhardy decision, but I guess it helps them push the narrative of single moms being strong. Some of these stupid moments start very early. At the beginning of the movie, the sniper chick is about to shoot her target, until a Skrull disguised as one of her comrades comes up behind her. Instead of the Skrull attacking the sniper from behind, he gives the sniper time to figure out that the Skrull is tricking her. There's also a scene when Captain Marvel is flying the doctor lady away from the bad guy, whose name I can't remember because just like everyone else in the movie, he's about as interesting as rice cakes. And it's established that the bad guy doesn't want to shoot the energy that's attached to the aircraft that Captain Marvel is flying. But through the flight scene, we see him shooting at the plane, risking the energy from being shot and dispersing. Scene's kind of counterproductive. Alright, so the bad guy shoots down Captain Maple Syrup and conveniently doesn't hit the energy socket. And he has her at gunpoint and tells her not to shoot the energy because it's important to him. And instead of shooting Captain Marvel, he just shouts, "No." What the hell? You have her at gunpoint. You could easily end the movie in 2 seconds. Oh yeah, Nick Fury. They really made him a dumbass in this movie. Not only does this character have the tough guy likes cute animal cliche, but on the rare occasions he does something intelligent, Captain Marvel proves his efforts are useless. Yeah, he's pretty much dead weight in this movie. So while Nick Fury and Captain Marvel are infiltrating a certain military base, Nick Fury thinks it's a good idea to call his own squad even though Captain Marvel can defeat the bad guys in 2 seconds. And apparently that was a bad decision because now Nick Fury's squad is after Captain Marvel. And all this does is create more obstacles. Good job. Honestly, Nick Fury isn't the only joke in this movie. Pretty much anyone who isn't Captain Marvel is a joke. Especially Ronan. The guy shows up for like 2 seconds, then leaves the movie. The only purpose Ronan served in this movie was to hint at the fact that he was the one who sent those aliens to New York. Honestly, this movie's main purpose is to answer many questions left out bridging the MCU together. This isn't an origin story for a hero, it's a movie with the sole purpose to make the other MCU movies look better. But even though that's their sole purpose, they massively fail. Some of these choices ruin other MCU movies for me. We all know by now how Nick Fury loses his eye, and it's probably one of the dumbest decisions made for an MCU movie. Now, Winter Soldier is one of my favorites in the MCU, but because Captain Dipshit produced such an awful scene, it actually degrades this movie.
Scanner active.
You don't think we wiped your clearance from the system?
I know you erased my password. Probably deleted my retinal scan. But if you want to stay ahead of me, Mr. Secretary, you need to keep both eyes open.
Well, I can't take this scene seriously anymore. Thanks, Anna and Ryan. I thought they would really go balls out with the whole feminist message, but I was wrong. Thankfully, there are only a couple of scenes like that, and they're not that painful. And many scenes where I thought they'd go that route, they didn't. Unfortunately, those scenes were replaced by cliched and bland dialogue. So really, we get nothing better in return. I can't do this, I don't even know who I am. Yeah, they went that route and it was fucking painful. So was that scene with her getting up multiple times. Also, her using her full potential without any reasoning at all. This started to remind me of Rey from Star Wars. I mean, she's able to do all this incredible shit with no explanation, which makes her a Mary Sue just like Captain Marvel. Overall, this movie's pretty shitty. Are there some good things in this movie? I guess. I liked the Stan Lee cameo and intro. Some of the action scenes were okay. I thought the movie could be funny sometimes. Too bad all of that is outshined by cliches, stale acting, cringeworthy dialogue, and poor casting.